I'd like to call this budget workshop to order. Ms. Bowie, would you put, would you call the, Ms. Bowie, sorry, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Pete Wilderboard.
Present.
Melissa Mason,
Here.
Josie Barnhart, Pat Bradford,
I am present.
Judy Justice,
Here.
Tim Merrick, David Perry.
Here. All right, board members, I'm glad you are here, and I think the rest of the board is on their way. I've gotten some messages. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. That passes 5 to 0. Next, we'll have the pledge, and it looks like I'll be leading it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We're here for a very important reason, to talk about our budget, and at this point, I'll turn it over to Ms. Sutton. Ms. Sutton.
So everyone should have a packet that's printed straight from Assembly. So all of the handouts are going to be in the packet. So if we just kind of go in order, keep up with where we are in the meeting, then you shouldn't have any trouble, hopefully, finding the documents that we'll be referring to. Yes.
This may seem like a, simple question, but everything that we're going to go over is in this packet. Do we even need our computers if we want to write on our, I'm just being straight here, because
You shouldn't need your computers. Everything should be in the packet. I will say that there are some minor, like, notes that were added to the PowerPoint slide after this was printed, but it's just notes. It's not changing the meaning of any of the slides. It's just additional notes were added. So you might see that on the slideshows that we're showing on the screen versus in the packet.
all right. Well, thank you.
And I'll try to point those out, too, when we get to those.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so a lot of these slides, if you went to the listening tours or listening budget meetings that we've had, some of these slides will be familiar, and then we've added some additional slides to give you an update on where we are with this budget, this actual school year. So starting with our priorities. So as we went into this year, these were things that we were talking about, things that we wanted to prioritize as far as straightening our culture and improving transparency. We've had a lot of staff reductions over the years due to loss in federal funding, loss in average daily membership or student enrollment. And so we were trying to stabilize those positions. And then also looking at just updating our strategic plan, and we'll have a slide that talks about that towards the end. And so these were just some of the priorities for the year as we were getting started, and the big focus on the culture shift. When we were building the budget last year, we did identify some strategic initiatives that have been our focus for this year, and as we're going through, I'll talk through those just a little bit. Attendance being the first. So we were prioritizing, or our focus, I guess, was to reduce the number of students who are chronically absent category by 10% annually. We were also looking to reduce the number of students who are in the warning category for chronically absent by 5% annually. When we were looking at safe and civil schools, that was an additional budget request from the county last year to implement that, and that was going to be implemented or has been implemented to reduce student disruption and office referrals. And by doing that, that would allow us to maximize our instructional time with those students. Our other focus was high school math that we've talked about a lot. Increase in proficiency in high school math 1 to 40% by the end of 2027. Graduation rate increase by 2% annually. Third grade reading, increasing our proficiency in third grade to 58% by the end of 2027. And then also transparency and accountability were also focuses for us for this budget cycle, this school year. And then we also wanted to take just a moment to brag. So we got a couple of brag slides in here. So as you can see here, these are some accountability highlights for last year's data. And I'm not going to read all these to you, but we wanted to share that once again with you and with the public that may be watching our session, our budget session here. Also wanted to highlight some of the same things as last year. We're 12th largest school district in the state, just to make sure that the public's kind of aware of some of these things too as we're talking through. Our teacher supplement is 6th in the state. Our per pupil spending is 9th. We have 3,200 approximately employees. We're the 2nd largest employer in New Hanover County. And then we also wanted to highlight a couple of additional things. 30 schools meet or exceed growth expectations. I'm not going to read everything here, but just a couple of things to point out. We rank 18th in the state with EOGs and EOCs combined.
I think it's also important to note that these are the data points we received in the same year that we had to downsize by 300 positions.
Good point. So now I wanted to share some information for our student enrollment. So ADM, average daily membership, sometimes I'll use those interchangeably. New Hanover County Schools, here you can see our enrollment changes over the past 5 years. That does include this year's enrollment as of the 2nd month of school, because that is the number that DPI uses funding us for the upcoming year. So I wanted to make sure you had that number there. So we have seen some decreases over the past 3 years, including this year. And then we'll talk about that loss of 839 students further along in the presentation, and certainly at our next board work sessions, we'll be talking about that. We like to share also, in addition to our enrollment, we like to share charter school, homeschool, private school enrollment, and these were slides that were included in the budget listening tour as well, because we wanted to see, are our students are they choosing a different option for their education versus New Hanover County schools? And so as you can see here, these options have been fairly level. We're not seeing big shifts as far as students making a different choice versus New Hanover County schools over the past 2 years.
I think what's an important qualifier to remember in this as well, a lot of our charter and private schools are also still building, so they're adding a grade level each year as they go. So even with the addition of grade levels, you're not really seeing a shift dramatically away from public schools. Now, I know that people have talked about the voucher program and all those things, but what they discovered, I think the most recent report I read said that 92% of the people who were utilizing vouchers were already not in the public school already. So to that extent, you're not seeing that create the kind of shift. I think what you're seeing are the two things that we've discussed. One is the birth rate, which is affecting schools across the state. And 2 is the cost of living in New Hanover County specifically. Even with the property tax being low, the average cost of a home in New Hanover County is $100,000 more than the state average.
Whoa.
But you aren't seeing the decline necessarily as much in Pender and Brunswick, because I think the bleed is sort of happening in that direction, if that makes
Right,
sense.
I agree.
Excuse me. Do we have any numbers on the number of school-aged children comparatively in our county? Has it gone up, down, about the same?
Yep, that number there of the total enrollment plus our enrollment is what they would consider the number of students in New Hanover County.
Right.
So is it going down?
Yeah, so if you add,
24,3 and 7,768, that's generally the number of
Around
students,
30,000.
the number of school-aged children in the county.
So are we diminished?
yeah, so it's, so if you're looking at, if you want to look at 2025 enrollment information, which that's the number that DPI used to fund us this school year, the 24,599 plus the 7,768 you see here for 2025, that equals 32,367. So that's the total number of students in New Hanover County.
And so we're going down slightly, but not much.
Right. When you're looking at these other educational options, you're seeing slight changes there. So our decrease that we're seeing here on this slide is not related to, it does not appear to be related to parents making different options, selecting different educational options.
What it is likely related to is the fact that every year we've been graduating about 2,000 seniors and bringing in about 1,700 kindergartners.
Right.
So you see a net loss every year of the number of students the county has. Plus, if they're not going to charter school or private school or homeschool, that number of increase of what it is, there's 58 less kids in other options than there were the year before, but if we have 800 less kids, the only other result would be either people moving out or students not moving in.
Right.
Ms. Justice?
Well, yesterday, I think we talked about the fact that, just the birth rate's declining overall nationally.
Yes.
Right.
How much would that be factoring into this? Have you figured that?
I think that is going to be a systemic issue as we go. I think you're always going to see that 300 or so kids less every year just because there are less 5-year-olds, right? Until sort of those 5-year-olds we've had over the last 2 or 3 years get to be middle and high schoolers, and that number stays the same, then we'll balance itself, right? Because the last 3 years, we brought in 1,700 kids instead of 2,000 in kindergarten. Once those kids get up into middle and high school, if the number stays static, then we'll balance. But until the bubble moves through, there's no telling.
And the prediction is that our population is going to be by 2050, 108,000 more people in this county.
Yeah, but
So-
that doesn't mean they're bringing or having
But I
children.
mean, it's still, the fact is we're growing.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
Bradford?
But we're
Actually,
growing.
Ms. Justice and I were in the curriculum meeting, and Dr. Barnes explained that Monday, whenever that was, and I wanted him to explain it, but he just did. So that was, because everyone's asking,
I got
how can
you.
you be down 839 kids when it's booming in New Hanover County? So we get that question a lot, and I wanted an answer from him.
I don't know, apparently I have late-breaking information.
I was just going to give you how we
I was just going to tell
calculate
you,
the kindergarten
Dr.
projection.
Merrick, that everything's there is in your packet. Yeah, it's also in your.
Yeah, you can do the pack, I'm just
wanna let
using
you
the
know.
pack instead of
Okay.
putting things back and forth. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Sutton?
And then we also like to provide a breakdown by level of our enrollment. I think that's helpful to have. We have 45 schools, and using the 24,599 student ADM, you can see the breakdown there. And then we've also got our preschool students included in that ADM number for that total 25,139.
Question, Ashley?
Yes.
Ms. Bradford?
It says 3 pre-K centers. Those are our standalone centers. That's not counting all our pre-K classrooms, right?
That's
They're in the
correct.
elementary number.
That's correct. But there's a pre-K at elementary, the 144, so those are the ones that are at our elementary
Got it.
schools currently.
Thanks.
Yep.
Ms. Sutton?
And here we have a breakdown for you of our total budget for this year, 368 million. And we have, we wanted to show you by funding source on this slide. So as you would expect, the state makes up 53.5% of the budget, with federal coming in at 8.7%, which is quite a decrease compared to a couple years ago when we had the COVID funding.
COVID, yeah.
And then the county funding making up 31% there.
Now, we've talked about, I'm sorry, actually, you can stop me later.
No, you're good. Good.
I'll get scolded after this meeting's over. There are some schools you see where the districts where the state bus is larger and the county bus is lower. We do have things like low wealth funding and rural, what do they call it?
Small county
Small
funding.
county money. So in some states, that county number is significantly less, some states. Some districts, the county number is significantly lower because the state number is higher, because low wealth counties can't produce the amount that we do. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's
Like if we
correct.
did this for 100, you're gonna see our blue part of the bus is larger than all
Right.
but 9
That's
other
correct.
counties.
That is correct.
Ms. Bradford?
I was looking, actually, I keep the school bus on my phone, but it looks to me like these numbers have really changed since last year, especially with federal and even other. Because I thought
Yep.
under was 1%, and now it's up to 6.8%.
Yep, so and it depends if you're looking at the operating budget
Yeah.
versus the total as well. I will say, in this county number, we are including the county appropriation, the pre-K grant we received from the county, and the capital. So that's where the county number is coming from. And the other number is gonna fluctuate. I've got a little note on the bottom there. That other includes grants and donations, your fines and forfeitures would kind of fluctuate a little bit. Capital that's not through the state or the county.
That's great.
Sometimes we have some funding that comes in or that's flexible where we could use for like small renovation or repair type projects, so that would be included in other. And like community use rentals of our facilities, isn't it? So those are the kind of things that are included in that other number.
Ms. Justice, then Dr. Merritt?
Yeah, there was a lot of concern for good cause about federal funding over the I'll just say last year. It's my understanding that not only have we received the funding that originally said that was going to be denied, but also we've got a little boost in it, is that correct?
I don't know, I think we got a little more in Title I, but not significantly, but they
Right.
have sort of sent the message down that our Title II, III, and IV should be secured for next year as well.
Okay,
Right,
good.
yes,
I'm glad
that's
to hear
correct.
Dr. Merritt?
You know, everybody wants to know about, where's that lottery money? So,
Yeah.
you know, when you talk, is that tucked into other? Because I know we did, Dr. Morgan, you know, did bring us some grants that we were getting through the lottery, or is that bundled into the state?
It's in the state number.
It's in the state number?
Mr. Perry?
Do you have other slides that show this, because this includes capital? Do you have
Yes.
other slides
Yeah.
that show?
Two later.
Just operating expenses?
Yeah, it's two later.
Yes, yes.
Slide 13.
Okay, great, thank you.
It's a good comparison, because that's what I was looking at.
And so this is a breakdown using the 608 million total budget and the 24,599 average daily membership or student enrollment to calculate a per pupil. So based on that total budget, our per pupil is 14,968, if you want to round up to 15,000. And so that gives you the breakdown by the different funding sources, the per pupil. And this is a different bus, but kind of the same. This is showing our total operating budget. And so I did add a note. So this note on the slide is not in the slides that are printed for you because a question came up, and I was a little late getting this added. But I wanted to make sure that we had on the slide what was excluded. That way, if you're going back and looking at it later, you'll be able to remember those things. So when we're talking about operating budget, I'm not including capital, our child nutrition, or sometimes we call that food service, or other restricted and that would be things like grants and donations. So, and the reason I'm pulling that out and not including it as the operating budget is because I really don't have flexibility on that. So when I get that money for capital, I have to spend it on those capital projects that have been approved. That's how we can spend those funds. Child nutrition, same way. When we receive funding for child nutrition, it has to be spent on child nutrition. And of course, grants and donations has to be spent in accordance with those documents. So that was the reason for pulling that out. And so when you look at the different breakdown here, for just as at the operating budget, you can see the state's picking up 60.5% of that budget. The counties are 33.3%, and federal is 6.1%, with just less than 1% coming from other. And really, that other is fines and forfeitures, because
And
we
this-
pulled all those other things out.
Sorry,
Okay.
David.
Yeah, it's actually kind of surprising that the overall budget that included capital was 31% county, and its operating expenses was 33, which I would have figured it was the other way around. I guess, mostly because the county is responsible for the capital needs, as far as buildings, things like that. That's my understanding anyhow. But also, I guess I'm just, if, for instance, if we get this $320 million bond, would we expect then that the county percentage is going to go way up?
Yes. But it'll show in the year that we're spending it, so it wouldn't all show in the county number the first year, because you wouldn't get all the money the first year. But yes,
Also, it's percentage-wise, too, so. the
Right, that's
Numbers
true.
might not change, but the percentages change based on what the other.
That's
by
exactly right,
removing the
yes.
five-
First bus will change, this bus won't change.
Ms. Bradford?
Oh, okay, yeah. Because we're excluding capital from this. Yes, you're right, you're right. This is the bus that would change the total budget, not the operating budget. That's true.
The slide in the middle with the 14,968 per pupil. I know I've asked you this before, but I can't remember your explanation. If I multiply that 14,968 by the 839 less students we have next year, you guys want to guess how much money that is? It's 12.6 million. So you said it doesn't exactly figure out that way because of the way the federal, state, and other is allotted. Explain that part.
So we'll spend some time at the
Okay.
end of this work session on allotments, and then you'll maybe get a better understanding. So some things are provided through position allotment, so you'll get less positions, and it depends on the average cost, what that revenue works out for that. But I guess a better example would be like children with disabilities maybe is a good example. Depending, yes, it's going to go down based on, you know, I already forgot. What's the percent? Yes, 13%. 13, I was about to say 4, that's AIG.
That's AIG.
Yeah. The 13% cap versus how many children with disabilities we have, and it's the lesser of the numbers. So a lot of the formulas, when you look at them, it's looking at not just ADM, it's looking at specific categories of students. And then it's not always a one-for-one. It can be capped or a percent or the lesser of. And so you really have to go through each program and recalculate to determine what you think the revenue is going to be.
Also, some things like the last several years, the county commissioners have not reduced our
True.
total amount of funding, even though we have lost students.
Right.
Which, if you use that on a per pupil basis, actually drives up the number because there are less students using it. So when we lost 400 kids and they didn't reduce the money at all, that drives up their per pupil number.
Barry?
I'll be clear on these numbers, just for the public too. This 14,000, is that strictly operating expense money and not including capital?
This is total budget. So this is the 368 million, so it's total budget. It does include capital.
Ms. Jess?
Dr. Barnes, didn't you bring up the national average, not the highest or lowest, but the national average? What is the difference between ours and the national average?
Well, that's where it gets a little bit, there's an answer, there's a longer answer to that question, so if it please the court. What, our state cut, right, is $8,006. If you look at the state average, it's about just a hair under 12,000, I think is the number.
Huh.
The difference for that is things like, small county money, disadvantaged student funding.
Well.
Things like, there's a grant where if you're a low-income county, they'll match your building project.
Right.
Things like that kind of mean that the average is different in different, like, other districts, state per pupil number is different. So the average of the state is about just a hair under 12 grand. The difference between what North Carolina receives in a per pupil funding and the rating of all the other states in the national average is about 17,000, so it's a difference of about $5,600 per kid. But again, it varies because it's different, each county gets a
Each
different
county, yeah.
slice of the state pie.
We're pretty healthy.
So is it,
Well, we're pretty healthy on the local side.
I
we're
said
not
on the,
as healthy on the
in
state
ways, that's the ways part.
but it can be extrapolated out to say because we're a high wealth county, we end up having less money per pupil. Is that true?
From the state?
Well, I think that's a difficult thing because the state, so this report that you're referencing, the Making the Grade report, which I've sent to all of you, it looked at 3 markers, right? It looked at what the per pupil spending was for North Carolina versus the nation. It looked at how well does the state work at dispersing that money in an equitable fashion, which means to some extent, those who need more are addressed in that formula. The state of North Carolina actually does fairly well in that regard of making sure that students who are in greater need receive a greater proportion of the funding. The last thing they did, and this is from 2023, 2024, I think, was the
It was.
Yes,
You're right.
yep.
The third thing they looked at was what percentage of the state's gross domestic product goes to education versus the nation. And so that was lower as well. So
And that's where the wealth of our state comes in.
that's where the wealth of the state comes in. And it's a question that we can debate ad nauseum, and we've all done it. Is it the county's responsibility? Is it the state's responsibility? Is it the county's responsibility if the
Everybody's
state doesn't?
responsibility.
Is it the state's responsibility if the county can't? There is some version that this group has to do of, Dad, can I go to a party? Ask your mother. Mom, can I go to a party? Ask your father. And then eventually both of you say, ask your grandparent, which is the feds. So.
Barry?
Yeah, kind of going back to my question about, so this includes capital expenses, how is that calculated? Saying that if you build a brand-new school, presumably it's got some, it's gonna last long, is it depreciated? Presumably it's gonna last 25, 30 years, because we have to build another one.
The math is a lot more basic than that. All I'm doing is saying the budget's $368 million divided by 24,599 students to get a per pupil. That's really all I'm doing there. And if you would like to see it a different way, like if you would prefer to see a per pupil on the operating budget instead, I could do that. The other thing to keep in mind with these numbers, if you just take totals, the other thing is, the other thing in addition to capital that's included here is pre-K. So pre-K is in that number too, even though pre-K is not in my 80. So this is a little skewed, I will say that, but when you're seeing per pupil other places, this is what they're doing. So I was just trying to be consistent with what other people were providing.
Yeah, I mean, the only point I was trying to make is that, for instance, yes, we get the bond next year, and even if you divvy it out based off years spent, you know, your per pupil is gonna go up. Even though, and then presumably it would go down after the 10-year bond is paid for. something like that.
So if you average 320 million over a lot of years, it's not that much. It's not going to show.
And a lot of kids, yeah.
difference.
Can you go back to one more slide forward for a second? I want
This
you guys to
one?
do me a quick favor. No, go forward.
The
two.
operating
There
one,
you go.
okay.
I want you guys to grab your phone or your calculator on your computer, whatever you like, and put in 310.5 million. So 310, 5, and then 6 zeros. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Multiply that by 0.83. That number you receive is what?
57,715,000.
$257 million of our operating budget is people.
Oh, so these are all our people.
That
These are
is the
staff.
cost of salary, benefits, and retirement.
That's
So-
where most of our money goes, right?
Understand, yeah, but understand when you have to lose money, I think you're gonna hit this in a slide or two.
You'll lose people.
When we've lost, we're down to $310 million in operating. It's 5 million less we had last year, and it's millions less we've had before. The only real place to find that revenue is people, which I think is the challenging part for all of us as a board, so.
Yeah, that next slide is really scary.
Oh, sorry, did I jump ahead? Go to the next slide.
5.8.
Look, here we go, see?
Yeah, look at 14, 14's really scary.
So this slide shows you some of the same information that you saw on those bus slides. It's just a different format, so you can see the previous 2 years and the current year, that revenue source, the dollar amounts versus just the percentages. And you can see that decline over the past 2 years. Wow. Of course, with the U.S. government, that federal row, you see that decline is related to those COVID funds ending, the last piece of those being spent.
And again, notice that New Hanover County, the commissioners have increased by $4 or $5 million every year over the last 3
Right.
years.
Right.
And the state went down last year, a
Big
significant amount of number, but nothing can minimize the damage of $30 million from the government.
That's COVID money, though, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, yeah.
So, okay. Shoot, it just went right out of my head. I got, the word COVID just made my brain crazy. It'll come back. in
Happened to a lot of
second.
people.
We'll be here all day.
Okay.
No, we
There was
won't.
something valid too, I'm trying to remember.
Ms. Bradford?
So Ashley, on the 25, 26 other, no, U.S. government. Okay, we know the COVID money's missing, but were we around 19 or 20 pre-COVID? What was our pre-COVID number?
Oh, I know.
Sorry. Oh, I don't have that slide in there, do I?
Okay.
Oh, I didn't have it in there.
Didn't go far back enough.
Because there's also a radical drop in other, radical.
Yeah, so in other, we were using fund balance for a while to balance our budget, and that would have been included in other.
That's terrible.
And then we also,
Oh, yeah.
this
that
is,
killed her.
this is operating budget. And so in the previous years, you would have had the red light camera funding included in other. You're not seeing, we sold Johnson, right, to kind of help us for 1 year with the red light money going away. But the sale of Johnson is not here because it is like a other restricted fund, and that it's in the same category like a,
It's like 14.
yeah, it's one of those funds that we exclude for operating, even though it is somewhat flexible.
In case people are listening, we didn't sell Johnson. We just-
Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, yes.
Oh, yeah, why-
Some of the property, sorry, I'm so sorry, lots of comments on that. Some of the
Trying to slip
property,
that right by you, didn't we?
Railroad tracks.
Thank you, Mr. Wildebohr.
thank you
Good
so
job,
much, I appreciate that.
Pete. Look at that.
Heard that same thing.
And I'm gonna encourage you to, we're gonna power through this, folks. We're only about halfway through.
Oh,
Okay, all right. And then we'd like to provide, oh, I'm sorry.
I remember the question. The endowment, does that go in the county funds? The funding, the endowment's giving us some money?
We include it with grants and donations, so
Okay.
it's included in the total operating budget, but, I'm sorry, the total budget, but not the operating budget, because it's a grant.
Okay.
And it's restricted by its use and function.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out what things are.
Oops. And, what have I done? Okay, there we go, okay. We wanted to provide a slide, to show the changes. We always like to show this every year because, as Dr. Barnes has mentioned, raises and increases in benefits, that really has a big impact on our budget, with 83% of our budget being related to salaries and benefits. And so as you can see here, the increases over the past 5 years. I do have a little star on this year's line because I just wanted to make sure you guys know. There was a 3% increase, but remember, not everyone got that. So we did originally budget for a 3% for everyone, but only our certified staff who were going into the next band, salary band, received that along with assistant principals.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. With the vagaries of the state budget, are we still, I thought that's what that asterisk was going to be. It's like we still don't know exactly who's getting a raise and who isn't and how much it'll be.
So
I know they had the mini budget.
They did a mini budget to be able to allow for this raise to happen. I will say, this is the first year that I can ever remember not having a budget in the first year of the biennial. And maybe that's happened, I don't remember that ever happening before.
I've been here forever, I don't remember doing it.
Usually it's the second year, and it's almost just like a continuation of that 2-year budget. But yes, we don't, and I don't anticipate a budget for this year other than the mini budget we've already received from the state.
But that has clarified these salary numbers that we can count on. The mini budget clarifies, and we are sure what
Yes.
that is going to be.
That's correct, for this year, that's correct, yep.
The likelihood that when they do maybe ever pass a budget, it's not going to change the mini budget.
That's true. I'm gonna say that's true. I mean, they could do, you know, what they like, but I do not anticipate receiving anything else from the state, because they're getting ready to come back and start next year's budget. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm not anticipating anything else coming from the state for this year.
I just wanted to make a comment if people are listening. What a lot of people don't realize is we pay, this looks healthy that we're supporting our staff, but the staff, as public educators, they pay in their share too, equal. And that takes a big chunk out of their paychecks every month. And then this is just the basic insurance. If they want families and things and that goes
Yeah,
up
this is
and
just the
beyond.
employer portion
Right.
of the
Yeah.
retirement and health
Yeah,
insurance.
so the employee pays 6% of their salary into their retirement. We pay almost 25%. But the health insurance, we have to pay that hospitalization fee of $8,500. But again, you are also paying into your insurance as well.
Not cheap.
And in a year where a lot of folks didn't get a raise and saw an increase in their health premiums, that is a factor to consider.
Very painful.
And this is a healthy increase in their share of insurance this year.
Yes, correct. And no indication that that's not stopping, quite frankly.
And just in case, I think everybody knows, but just in case you don't know, we switched carriers as a state, and I actually called the state because I was like, what in the world? And they said, we didn't do it. It was the treasurer that did it. So I'm like, oh, there you go. So, that's what they told me anyway. Yeah, well.
Yeah, exactly.
Ding, ding, ding.
Exactly.
Okay, so I also wanted to give you guys, we talked about this a little bit when our external auditor presented our financial statements, but I wanted to kind of circle back around to this before we go into the budget process to talk about where we are with fund balance. And
my
so, as you can see, the line in blue at the top, our total general fund balance is right at 3.9 million. However, a lot of that has to be set aside. There are general statutes that require that those funds not be spent, and then one of those, as you you'll remember we have set aside. So I thought it might be helpful, so this time I put what non-spendable represents, what restricted represents, so you have it there. So that non-spendable line is inventory and prepaid expenses. So it's not cash that we could turn around. I mean, we could sell inventory and then have cash, but that's the reason that line's restricted, because it's not readily available to be spent. And then
You've got 1,000 boxes of paper in the warehouse as schools need them. That's
Right.
considered inventory, but it's not money.
That's right, that's right. So I'm just trying to provide an explanation as to why. So yes, help me if I say anything that's not clear, or if you have questions, please. Restricted would be accounts receivable, where we're waiting to be reimbursed for something, is normally what that would represent. And then committed is the funding that we've set aside, that $500,000 in case we have some type of disaster or hurricane, so that we can go ahead and start working, getting things in place, and then go to the county for any additional funding that what we might need until insurance is provided for
Ms. Gus.
reimbursement.
Before we were told that we needed to spend down the fund balance, or for, I can't even remember, get positions or whatever. How much was it? Because I remember it was really healthy, and that's one thing we've been very proud of when I was on the
In
board
the
previously, because
sevens?
of hurricanes and stuff, when that popped up, we could take care of ourselves. How much was that amount that we were told to spend down?
Wasn't it around 7 million?
Oh, more than that, it was like 18 million.
What?
Yeah.
It was like 18 million.
Are you
You
serious?
and I
Yes.
calculated a few days
Yeah.
ago, before, I don't want to say before I stepped in the seat. Ashton and I, last school year and this school year, committed to not utilizing fund balance. Now, some of that sounds so noble, but it's because we didn't have one. If you look at the fund balance spent over the 5 years previous, it was about $5 million a year. That was the average, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's about right, when we had looked at it last year.
So when this kind of, what we're doing now is we're living within our means, but we don't have access to that 5 million a year for sort of emergency stuff,
Right.
because it's not there.
As I said, it came in real handy during the hurricanes. We were able to handle
Barnhart, then Mr. Barrett?
Thank you, Mr. Whittler. I just wanted to confirm, the committed is the 500,000 because the county, we have an agreement with the county that if we have at least 500,000, they will be able to respond to up to $10 million for us in the case of emergency. So that's why that.
That's correct.
But even though it says 500,000, that gets us potentially $10 million in the case of an emergency like a hurricane, so.
Correct.
And streamlines the process, so then,
Yes.
then all the FEMA reimbursement and everything is the county thing, and we're good to move.
Mr. Barrett?
Yeah, I just wanted to note that there's a good reason why they want us to spend that fund balance down, because if we don't have one, then, if we have a fund balance, then we can decide what's an emergency and what isn't. And when somebody else can get to decide that, then they have control. So, and if the, I don't know where the lottery money comes in, but if, you know, at this point, you know, with our very lowly fund balance, if they don't want to give us any money, maybe we should have a Monte Carlo night or something and make some money for us on balance.
Dr. Merrick?
I just also want to remind everyone that when we put in our budget last year, we requested that emergency fund from the county, it would extend beyond a simple hurricane or a storm, because there are all manner of emergencies that do show up. Foundation collapses, you know, there are, we lose, you know, power and we burst all our heating units or whatever. And the county turned us down on that. So I just want to kind of put that out there. So that emergency from the county is only for storms.
And you also got to remember,
Really?
you mentioned just yesterday, you know, we have a possible leaking tank
Yeah.
concerning.
But
That
that's not an
was
emergency.
1.3, that was a,
That's a concern.
Dr. Morgan, it's at the end of life, it's not currently leaking?
It's not.
it's
underground storage tank?
Yes.
Correct.
currently at that.
If it was leaking, would it be an emergency?
It's not a hurricane though. Maybe it's a hurricane cause.
Well, we will push on through. Thank you for all the comments, because they are all true.
Okay, and then the next slide, this is a little busy, but I was just trying to give a lot of information on this slide for you because we've had conversations and questions have come up. So I wanted you to have something to kind of refer back to. So we do have a fund called the Other Restricted Fund. a majority of that fund is for grants and donations, and funding that we've set aside for potential things that could come up, so we have money there, it's like if it's flexible. But a lot of this all of it's restricted or assigned. And so the restricted category is grants and donations. And keep in mind, like, this is where we stood at the end of last year. So this would have been when the auditor was here. He talked about this a little bit. I don't know if you guys recall that or not, but he did bring this up as a discussion point. So we may have grants that we are anticipating coming in, but we haven't requested reimbursement for those grants yet, or the next pot of money related to that grant hadn't fallen yet. So those things aren't included here. So the things included here would be where we've received the revenue, is restricted for some type of purpose or assigned for some type of purpose, and it will be spent in future years. And so this just carries over from year to year until these funds are spent. And so the restricted number is the 7 million you see there, and the assigned is the 15.9 million. And so the assigned is for things like EC services. If we don't have enough state and federal revenue, we have so we get money from DPI federal and state, but we also get Medicaid money, Medicare money, and those funds are in this other restricted because it has to be spent on EC services. I can't take that money and spend it for something else. And so whenever we have funding that meets that type of category, we put it in here just to make sure we have it in the right place. And so I've tried to add things together the best I could try to explain that to you guys. I will say the big number you see up there, that 7 million, and Dr. Barnes, you might have to help me with this. Sometimes he can explain a little bit better than I can. But when we were building the budget 2 years ago, and then we used the same process last year, we built our general fund budget, so the Fund 2 or 20, we built that. We went ahead and budgeted for any vacancies salary vacancies we thought we were going to have, for any funds that we thought would not be fully spent by different divisions. And we went ahead and budgeted so that we could take advantage of every dollar in that pot. But, so this is an estimate of what I thought if we, okay. So I'm estimating salary vacancies. That's probably the easiest one for me to explain. But if the salary vacancies don't come in at the level that I estimated, I have to have money somewhere to be able to cover whatever that difference might be. So that's what that 7 million is, and it's salaries and supplements. In case I don't have the turnover, I need to make sure I have money to pay for those things. And so, Dr. Barnes, you can do a better job probably.
Here's the example. A few years ago, I was still in Whiteville, I think. Columbus County had to go back to the commissioners and ask for enough money to cover the rest of salaries and benefits for their people for May and June, because they didn't budget enough. Last night, we approved the personnel agenda. You saw that we had half the number of resignations and retirements we had a year ago. So this look at the line item, says local supplements and salaries. It's like $7 million. And my first thought was, how can I get that and use it for things I know people need right now today? Here's the thing. I went and got my back windshield replaced.
Me too.
The mechanic charged me $1,000. Just work with me.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Folks, that's not the part of the story. It cost me $1,000 to get my truck back. Well, my sister, she owes me $1,000. She said she'd pay me next week. But I still have to put $1,000 in an envelope over a year in case my sister doesn't pay me, so that I can get my car back from the mechanic. This is envelope money. It's money just in case we've calculated wrong. We still have to pay our people. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Ashley Smart, which is really smart. No, but it's a part of being fiscally responsible.
Right,
Right.
right.
There is a district that I've talked to their superintendent a couple weeks ago. He planned for an amount of small county money. The state cut some of it, or low wealth money, I don't remember which one it was. And they are $8 million in the hole. And we're almost in March, folks. And he's struggling to figure out, how do I balance the books between now and June? We can't get to that place. Why? Because we don't have a fund balance.
Oh, right.
So we have to be careful and do things like this. So I think our main thing is, I don't want you guys to get this idea that there's money available on the table, because we already have budgeted for lapsed salaries, which is not something you normally do. And with Geller doing such an amazing job, and we're retaining people, that number gets less and less. As people stay longer, their supplements get more expensive, and they should, but we have to pay for that. So, there you go.
Do I
Okay.
have your truck? No, never mind.
How did that?
Whatever.
Money for it.
It's outside.
It's a metaphor, people. It's a metaphor.
So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this year's budget. So we've talked about the total operating budget of $368 million. But I wanted you to kind of get a feel for, you know, how are we looking so far this year? And I feel, and usually December is a really easy month to look at, right? Because it's halfway through the year. And so at the end of December, we had spent 48% of our budget. So we're on track. And I apologize, this is revenue. So we've collected 48% of the revenue we had budgeted to come in this year. So we're on track where we should be in December. And then also looking at expenditures the same way. Total budget versus expenditures were 47% spent as of the end of December. So we're on track. I feel good that we're going to end the year, you know, in line with the budget that we have in place. Looking at that same budget by purpose, you can see here, as we would expect, instruction makes up the largest amount of our budget at 46%, and then system-wide support's coming in at right at 21%.
Did you say 46 or 76?
Should have been 76.
76, I may have said 46, 76%.
We know what you mean.
Those are those people.
And then this is the slide we like to look at, because you can see it broken down by the object code here. So this outlines specific services or types of expenditures. So you can see here the salaries and benefits we had talked about before, making up right at 84% of the operating budget here. And then I always like to show a slide that has fixed cost on it, because yes, salaries and benefits are fixed costs, but we also have some other costs that are fixed that we really don't have any control over, such as utilities and insurance, other than, I mean, I guess you can pick different options with insurance, but we have to have insurance. And then we also are mandated to provide the payments to the charter schools based on their enrollment as well. So when you're looking at operating fixed costs, you're at 89% of our operating budget.
Ms. Justice?
Yeah, you had mentioned a few minutes ago, or somebody had, about the fact that insurance is going up. My goodness, all these different benefits here that our employees get. There was another one also. Insurance is going up. Is there something else that's going up?
Cost of retirement benefits. Now, that insurance is listed there, employee insurance is listed under employer-provided benefits. Insurance is like our insurance on our vehicles and
Like
our buildings.
general liability insurance,
What about utilities?
that type of insurance.
Utilities is under utilities.
I mean, but is that going up too?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Just like at our houses, our heating bills are going up.
Right.
Wow.
Ms. Becker?
Well, I guess it will.
I think it's important to look on both those slides to remember too. Charter schools cost us 2.4% of our operating budget, 7.4%
And as we've seen, that number is staying fairly static,
Yes, right,
but it's still a drain, right?
right.
Now, the other thing about this, if you go one more slide forward, understand as we step into the budget and start talking about budget, you're really talking about only 11%.
Right.
Is choices that we can make. Almost 90% of it is determined.
Mr. Perry?
A question about the insurance. If our insurance on the schools is going up, is it based off the valuation of the property that it could be going up because all the land around here is getting more expensive? And does our building appraisal from the county or whatever, how does that factor into the fact that we're paying more insurance because of our property's worth more?
That's not insurance.
And I will have our third party that helps us with looking for, trying to get the best price for our insurance will be coming and speaking to you guys in the next couple of months. The things that we've looked at in the past that have caused it to go up are like if you have a hurricane 3 years in a row, 2 years in a row, and you have damages related to that. It also has to do with, trying to think, back to that conversation. I can't think right now. When we've seen, I believe that we're not going to see as big of increases. I don't have those numbers yet. I'm not anticipating as big of increases in insurance this year as in previous years because we've had a couple years with no hurricanes and no big lawsuits. And so I think we might start stabilizing here soon. But in the past, those were the things, big lawsuits and disasters where we've had a lot of damage has caused those rates to go up, or other incidents.
So you're saying, unlike my home insurance, when the value of my property goes up, the insurance goes up? That's not the case with our schools?
That has not been a driving factor when we've talked about the reasons for insurance increases in the past. But I will certainly ask that question, and Mr. Zach will be able to answer those questions for us.
Dr. Merrick?
Just to clarify from the question, I think that I heard you ask, we don't have property tax on our buildings as government owned.
Oh.
We don't have to pay that
Right,
tax.
no,
right?
that's correct.
Yeah, I was asking from an insurance perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
Ms. Justice?
Never mind, that observation just brought a whole bunch of new thoughts in my head, so I'll just let them organize.
Okay.
Okay, we good? All right, so now that we've gone through this year and kind of where we are this year, we'll start developing next year's budget here really soon, and we'll use as our base this year's budget. We'll start there, and then we'll look at changes for the upcoming year. I wanted to take a minute to go through this budget timeline with you. So in December, we started reviewing the budget. As some of those slides I showed you, where are we? Are we about 50% revenue coming in, expenditures? We also start looking at our allotments and identifying budget priorities. So those things are happening in December, really through January. And as you guys know, we've already held a lot of budget priority listening tour type meetings. We've met with principals, directors, the teacher advisory group, assistant principals, and then we also had the town hall for our staff and for the community at large. And so those were all done in January. So we've got that information that we're compiling as we're starting to develop the budget. And we've also collected in February the request for capital, the other budget request from the divisions and the schools. And now in looking forward to March, we'll we're having our first budget work session, of course, today, but we'll need to, before we leave today, schedule our next budget work session for March, and we need to think about the possibility of needing 2 in March. So normally, we have 3 board work session meetings for the budget, and so if we want to go ahead and get those scheduled in March so that we can stay on track. Because once you get into April, things are happening really fast. So in the plan, if we stay on track with how we completed the budget last year in that similar timeline, so March the 24th, we would hope to bring superintendent's recommended budget to you at agenda review. And that way, we have time to talk through and answer any questions that you have, and possibly, if needed, make adjustments. And then in April, we would be bringing to the April 1st board meeting a budget recommendation for approval. And then our goal is to have something to the county manager by April 15th, which was in line of what we did last year. And then hopefully to hear back from them in June and possibly have a budget resolution to the board around June 2nd, that board meeting in June.
Mr. Perry?
And maybe you'll touch on this later, but just because you're talking about the timeline, one of the things that we addressed last year was the pre-K shortage. And one of the things that we decided is that we need a long-term plan for funding these things. Has that been under discussion? Will that be part of these workshops in April or March, rather, excuse me?
So we have done some analysis on pre-K, and we have looked at some different options. And Dr. Barnes, I don't know if you want to add anything to this, but
Yeah,
we've
we
looked
are
at
gonna-
private pay and
Yeah,
some
we are
things
going
on
to be
that.
bringing, that's going to be part of the budget conversation, is what our solutions are for pre-K.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, well, they're not great solutions. I mean.
Well, something's better than
Yes.
nothing, but yes, I mean.
Well, and I think
Sure.
you'll see this as we go into the next budget work session. I've said several times, a couple of statements. One, we are at a subsistence level. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the
Hey,
problem.
yay me.
Yeah, we don't need
We are at the bottom we can go.
it. Yeah, we can.
And we are now in the process of choosing between essential services. And part of what that conversation means for y'all is we're gonna have some tough conversations about what do we value and wanna put towards what we need. Because right now, we're not adding stuff, we're trading stuff. If we wanna solve this problem, we're gonna have to either eliminate something else. That's sort of where we are. So I think that pre-K is one of those variables that I think we're gonna have a conversation about.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, so.
And so, of course, I'm sorry, question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought we were going to be talking about potential workarounds with pre-K today. That's what I have heard.
We have one other activity. I really wanted to establish a base first. I can certainly share with you some of those as well if you want, however you guys want to play it. But I haven't communicated that to the public yet, and so, yeah.
I get that you want to get your ducks in a row and present it to us, in a meaningful way. I want to be able to get it to the public in enough time that we can, I don't know how to say this anymore, that we can get the county commission to understand how much pinch we really feel. And and is pre-K important or not? And I think, if you look at all the return on investment of helping our kids in pre-K, I want to get that conversation going so that come June, we're not suddenly going, oh, well, I guess we can't have, we have to give up some things that are really important.
Now, I have communicated with the endowment, I've talked with the commissioners specifically about what I would consider our main pressure points, which are pre-K and technology. Stafford?
I kind of want to go through this so that we have the whole complete picture, the action we wanted us to have, so that people can get the next step, knowing what this is. So rather than I want to know about pre-K, but I feel like it's put over your, just more important right now. So we finish this.
Just to clarify, You were gonna get to pre-K after this presentation, correct?
It's not on the agenda for right now, but I can certainly tell you, we are having 2 more meetings, yeah.
Yeah, so it would be next month's meeting? I believe what you're concerned about, you'd like to hear more about it today and not wait until.
I agree with my colleague across the way. We do need to get the foundations in. But if we can have at least some update
Sure.
on thinking
There we
today,
go.
that would be very
I can
beneficial.
certainly give an update at the end, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And I can at least give you the direction, the sort of directions we're going. And this is something I shared with the commissioners when we were together with them, so.
Okay, so we can.
Yeah, it's fine. I hadn't communicated entirely with all the principals about some of the plans, and so I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but there's only 7 people watching at home right now, but word is going to get out. And so I don't like having someone hear something when I haven't been the one to tell them. But as long as everyone understands this is a rough draft theoretical conversation, that I'm not gonna make moves like that without you guys being on board with, I think we're fine to give you an update. Does that make
Fair.
sense? Does that make sense, Ms. Sutton?
Yes?
Okay.
All right. So you're familiar, of course, with our strategic plan, so we'll definitely be using this as driving our budget development. And we'll discuss that a little bit more, later in our work session. So the main things as we're developing next year's budget, I guess we would call the big rocks that we have to be thinking about are the change in our average daily membership of 839 students, because that will have a big impact on our state revenue and, what we're able to do with that reduction at almost, 3.5% change there. And then the other things that we're looking at based on the previous 5 years, we are developing this budget with, based on the average of the last 5 years, a 3% average salary increase. We're doing that once again for all staff. An employer contribution rate increase of that 1% you see there, and then a 5% increase for health insurance premiums based on the past 5 years' data. All right, so if we have no more questions on the presentation, then we can go into allotment. So I think we were going to do a little exercise. And so if you've been following along in the handout, if you go past the allotment formula review page, the first allotment formulas you see is state dollar allotments. And it's 3 pages. It's broken down. The first page provides the actual dollar allotment formulas, and the second page provides position allotment formulas, and the third is showing categorical allotment formulas. So we, as you guys may recall, we receive funding through these 3 different types of formulas. So dollar allotments, just like it sounds like, you're going to get a certain dollar amount and you can pay for whatever you can afford to pay from that dollar amount. Position allotments, instead of getting a certain amount of money, you'll get a certain number of positions. And so let's say you get 1,000 teachers in a position allotment. The state will cover no matter what the cost. If the teachers cost $100,000, they'll cover it. If the teacher costs $50,000, they'll cover it. So you're looking at positions for that page. And then categorical is more specific, like our limited English proficiency kids, there's additional funding for that, children with disabilities. So I just wanted to take a second to talk through the 3 different categories. And then on the next page, you have New Hanover County Schools local formula allotment. So even though the state has a way that they provide their revenue, we use our local allotment formulas to determine our allotments to the schools, and we're using state and local funds to be able to send these allotments out to the schools.
All right, so for this next activity, it probably would serve you best if you went ahead and peeled off the 3 pages that are state allotments and peel off the 3 pages that are New Hanover County's allotments. Does it make sense?
All right, so you can understand some of the difference. We talked about this, and if you haven't heard me talk about state law enforcement yet, boy, are you in luck. Okay? We realize that the state formula does not provide the minimum of what we consider to be essential for schools. So we have developed in Hanover County a lot, and you see this every year, but there's a formula we use to say, this is what we need to do. So what I built is an activity for you guys to work through in pairs to sort of bring this down to a real-world school example. We're gonna build you a modeling formula for one of our elementaries. Make sense? Okay. So, because, can we take like a 2-minute break?
Sure.
Do you guys need a stretch?
Yeah, it would be
Let's stretch.
And I will tell you that in a perfect world, we have a hard stop about 2:30. A lot of us need to get over to the Smart Lab ribbon cutting at Hanover at 3. Okay, so take a minute and then we'll come back.
Well, you take a minute to grab your calendars, if you have a calendar, we'll have that for later on. And we're back.
All right, I'm going to pair you up with a cabinet member and a board member in a little grouping. Since Ms. Geller is at an ATR workshop today, one of you will probably be a triad, not a couple. So, what you're going to be experiencing is exactly what HR and I, and Ashley, and the senior staff has to do to staff each individual school. Part of it is an exercise about the allotment formulas themselves, so you're just going to get a chance to walk through and play with them a little bit, but also to highlight some of the support that the county provides that doesn't always become evident as you go through the process. So, I've mixed everybody's names up. So, let's see. If you can, you'll have to re-sit somewhere else. I don't care if you bring a chair over or not. You guys are adults. Ms. Justice and Ashley Sutton. You guys are a pair.
Oh, good, okay, I'll take my chair over there.
You got the AP class, didn't you?
Yeah.
Pat Bradford
Yeah.
and, oh, Jen Geller's not here. Pat Bradford and Anita Maggie. Okay? David Perry and Julie Barnum.
What materials do you need?
Pete Wildebohr and Robin Hamilton.
Woo-hoo!
Come on down.
Tim Merrick
right here for you.
and Rob Morgan.
Told you.
They don't move.
She actually knows it.
Josie Barnhart and Dawn Brinson. And if you would go with the Robin Hamilton.
Oh, right here.
I will do that.
Right here. Come on in.
Maggie.
Little old lady. Hello. Hey there,
Come join us. Come join us. Come join
Yeah, I
us.
moved over. I was
Sure.
like, I'll just sit right on over there.
Sure. Kick me out. Kick me out of my warm seat.
Don't give me the gavel. Here you go, Robin. Move that. Move that gavel. I like that. I like the mask.
Keep nice and warm for you.
Thanks. You get to move the chair? I'm turning this off.
Oh, here we go.
Now, I was going to do this as well and have you be with me, but there's a lot to do, so I think
It's okay. Somebody has it.
all right. So, to open and start with, what you have in front of you is a group of students at an elementary school. And I was playing with the Hollyville Beach Elementary. I was trying to decide a name for the school, but that being as it may, the first thing is you have to say, how many teachers is the state going to give you for each of these grade levels? Now, I will tell you, what you're seeing when you do it that way is an entire district. The state doesn't give us each school. The state says you get 1,000 teachers based on this. But the really tricky part is that I want you to use percentages when you do this. So in this first slide, you're going to see kindergarten allotment, 66 students. And if you go to your allotment formula from the state, the state is going to say it gives you one teacher for every 18 students. So go ahead and pull out your calculator or your brain and tell me how many kindergarten teachers will the state give Hollyville Beach Elementary School? Okay, 3.6 teachers. So take out
Do we
your
get the
pen.
upper half or the lower half?
Sir?
Do we get the upper half or the lower half of the teacher? That's
That's a
3.5.
good question. I will tell you.
Okay.
The state adds them all up and rounds once for the entire district. Whichever way it rounds. They do not round you by school or by grade level. They will round once for the entire district. So if it becomes 1,000.52, they give us 1,001. Not per individual school, but just once.
So we have to put down 3 teachers there.
So you put 3.66 in that spot.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You put 3.66. Now what is first grade? 69 students.
That's 16, it's 4.31.
4.31.
So divided by the 18.
It said 16 this time.
16.
16 has a lower
Have
class.
at it. Round it to nearest whatever you feel comfortable with. All right, now do the same thing for second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade.
We're doing state allotment.
You were doing state allotment only.
Right. So it's,
And in this case, the state and not the state.
And 70 divided by 17. 77 divided by 23, or no, 24.
68 divided by 7.
And 75. We're gonna add these numbers.
Got those numbers. All right. Once you get done, all the way to fifth grade, add those numbers and tell me what the total number is. Yeah, I know.
I believe you.
Thanks, Pete, but please check.
So for the sake of our argument, you're gonna add up the number of teachers you have and tell me that number.
What you can do, so grades 4 through 6.
That's why I had to do what.
Combo class.
Does anyone have their total number of teachers?
I used to love combo.
You love combo?
Oh, yeah. I had a great teacher. She had a great TA and they, yeah, oh, yeah.
But anyway, so let's just look at 68, apparently that was an even number, right? Divided by, so we would just say we would have 4 teachers. Just throw that out.
What I'm looking for is you tell me how many teachers the state allocated to the school.
That would be how many in a class?
22.24.
4 divided by 68. Is how much? And then, what happens down here in third grade? We had 4 teachers in third grade.
Everybody got that number? I'm just trying to keep us on point. What number do we have? 22.3, 22.4, 22.4?
22.32.
22, is everyone 22?
He's got.
Yes, we all have.
Okay. Everyone has 22. Based on rounding, the state gives you for Hollyville Beach Elementary 22 teachers. Now, you saw the way they allot them. The number of students individually in each class can be 3 more than the number they allot. No, after third grade, you don't care. As many as you can fit in the room, they don't care. So for kindergarten,
parents
first
care.
grade, second grade, and third grade, you can add 3 to that number. Now you need to figure out how many teachers per grade level and tell me what your class sizes are going to
So
be.
we can still do that.
But how many do you have total?
25, so how many, that's
22
17,
players.
17, 18, and 18 again, or?
You could add, so
18, 17.25 would be 17, 18.
So how many teachers end up being there?
17 and
Oh, sorry, 317.
Three there?
And then, let's just say,
To the play with, break them up.
I think we're gonna have 67 77 divided by 3 is, so that's gonna be 25, 25, 26.
No, 26.
Two 26s. Okay. And then, same thing here, 75 divided by 3.
That's it. Done.
No, we do not.
All right. Is everybody ready? Okay. Take your time.
Sorry, Ms. Jones, you're moving from first grade to fifth grade, sorry.
Those phone conversations.
Actually, that one, she ended up quitting. She's like, you're gonna do what to me? I said, you're gonna be a fifth grade teacher. And she did elementary teacher in county.
So teacher assistants,
Yeah.
we're just thinking ahead so that we could do basketball. So teacher assistants stay in the county. So grades K, the state gives 2 TAs for every 3 classes. We do too. Grades 1 and 2, 1 TA for every 2 classes. So what I was looking at.
All right.
And they give the state gives.
About to get, this was the easy part. Okay. How many people have 4 classes, kindergarten to third? 4.
Yes.
And then what do you have in fourth and fifth grade?
3 and 3.
Okay. Now, you do realize you just made the choice not to have an NHCS coordinator at all, but we'll get back to that. Now, right. Now let's do teacher assistants. Now, teacher assistants is going to be super confusing, so you're gonna have to listen a little bit. Okay. The way the state allocates teacher assistants, you have to have a master's degree to get it. Just to even understand.
Or doctor. Or doctor.
No. All right. The state says they will give you 2 teacher assistants for every 3 kindergarten classes.
Of 21 students.
Grades 1 and 2, 1 for every 2 classes. That's great. If you look at your sheet, how many first grade teachers do you have?
4.
4. So how many TAs should you have?
4.
No, 1 for every 2.
You said 2 for every 3.
2 for every 3 in kindergarten, 1 for every 2 in first and second grade, and 1 for every 3 in third grade. But the problem is even though they allotted you at 16 kids at a first grade classroom, they only count a full class at 21. The state does. So, what you have to do is take the number of kindergarten kids you have. The number is 66. If you're going to want to have 2 for every 3 classes of 21, the first thing you have to do is divide 66 by what? 2. By 21. So divide 66 by 21.
3.14.
66 by 21, and what do you get?
3.14.
Oh, you get 3.14?
Yeah. 5.
Now, you get 2 for every 3 classrooms. So what does that mean? You get 2. All right. That is the same thing for the first grade. Take that number and divide it by 21.
But we can't do 21 in fifth grade.
No, you can't, but the state will only give you a TA for every 21 kids in a class.
We can add first and second together.
If the class size is,
Ma'am?
if the class size is 16 and we get to go 3 over from first grade, that's
No, you still have to go to 21.
Add that together because it's 1 TA for every 2 classes.
I ain't even got to the money part yet, folks.
69, 68.
I didn't realize that.
You can only go 3 over.
Yes, but still, there have to be 21 kids. So you don't
So we get one TA for every 2 classes, so that's 3 TAs. I'm gonna round it, that's 3.5 TAs. So we've got.
You have to take that number and divide it by
There you go.
21.
I'll just round it. Okay, so that's 23.
No, but they say that 21 kids equals a class.
Now,
So you have to
third
take
grade,
that number first grade,
seven.
divide it by 21,
So 7.
and then half. All right, so first grade, you're gonna take the number of kids you have, divide by 21, and then half it. Same thing with second grade, same thing with third grade, except third grade, you're doing a third, not a half.
Yeah, because third grade is every 3 classes. What did we say it was? 3.3, so that's 1 third. That's 1 third. So that gives us 16. And that
For
would be
now, add up that number and tell me what that number is. K1, 2, 3, teacher assistants, add up that number and tell me what it's.
7 divided by 21.
So you have to divide by 21, and then for first and second grade, half it, for third grade, a third.
we rounded in about 6. Our leftover well, we rounded, we probably I'll do all round. It's just easier. That's what I was gonna it's all
I only brought $95, but that's okay, round
They
it.
rounded it for me. Oh, no, so you're just not paying $5
Well, that's it, that helps. That does.
Actually, I know it's quantity. On Thursday for the 5% off, on Friday you get 4 times the deal.
Okay. What number did you get a number of TAs?
6.
6.3? Okay, 6 is pretty high.
6.
But here's the trick with the state's formula. The state doesn't give you TAs by position. They give a dollar amount for teacher assistants. The challenge with that is, what number does the state use for the teacher assistant salary? They use the state average. And then calculate a dollar amount and send it to us. Our teacher assistants make an average of $1 more an hour than the state average. So that 6 teacher assistants will be 5. Because what the state says affords 6 teacher assistants, we can only afford 5. So you have 5 teacher assistants, now you need to allot them for where they're going to be in the building. And that's the slot right there that says teacher assistant schedule. Where is it? Schedule. So now decide with your 5 TAs where they go during the day.
5 TAs and you have 4 kindergarten already.
Sir?
You have 4 kindergarten classes and you have 5 TAs for the entire
For the entire public.
kindergarten, first grade, got it.
Did you get one this second?
And this is the reality of what you're allotted.
2, 4. Right here. And then number 5 is split between these 4 grade levels. It's quite a rotating schedule of support. Really, truly, giving intervention time.
I mean, you have to go with your class with the highest number of ACEs, the biggest behavior issues, the youngest primary teacher, you know, PA teachers, and I'm sure kids will play with that. You leave that to the principal to try to figure that out.
Whatever y'all think. That's right.
Now, I almost never see TAs in third grade anymore. They're usually isolated K kids.
That's right. So anyway,
We'll give you about 2 more minutes to do that.
TA allotment is made through their school. They can say 1 TA per week. Either way, it's a scheduling. Right?
First and second, 1 first, 2.
punt it to the principal.
You are the principal at the moment.
Okay, well then, yeah, not knowing what the student population is.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking 2, 2, and 1, just without knowing the.
2 kindergarten, 2 first, 1 second, no third. Okay? What'd you guys do?
Same thing.
2 in kindergarten, 2 in first, 1 in second, none in third. What'd you guys do?
Right now, we've got kindergarten split, 1 in first grade, 2 in second grade, but we're wanting to know about AC.
That's a separate law.
Well, that is a separate allotment.
So it's going to be
All right. If we're frustrated and confused, you're right in the right space. Okay? Now let's really get angry. Pull up your state allotment formula real quick. The state allotment formula for special ed. Okay. It is on the second page, it's on the third page. All right? We receive, for students with disabilities, 5,365 per funded child count, up to 13%. So we have a school of what, 425? Okay, watch you multiply 425 by that cap, which is what? 13%. Get that number and multiply it by $5,365.09. And someone tell me what that number is, write it down in, how many students are in your EC program? Let's do that first.
Everyone.
425 times 13%. You have 55 EC students. Now I will tell you that 8 of those 55 are in a separate setting.
How many?
8.
Yes, we know.
8 of that 55 are in a separate setting. There are 2 TAs in there if you're going to follow the standard. All right, so take your 55 students and multiply that by your 5,000, what's the number, $5,365.09.
296. I did it by the exact amount.
13% is the cap. So 13% of 425 is what?
55.
55 and a quarter. We'll go ahead and, no, because they capped it, well, we'll go ahead. We'll
I'm
go.
not arguing, I'm just doing math.
I'm a nice guy. We're gonna go with the larger number. What is your number, Rob?
Well, no, I don't remember. 296, 421.
All right, so put in that dollar amount, 296, 421?
Yep, 421.
421.
0.23, 23 cents.
That is your available EC budget. Everybody with me?
Yep.
That's your EC budget. Now, on this handy page that you've got right here, go to the second page of it. And just to help you, I provided for you at the bottom of the second page the average cost of a teacher and a TA. Use that $296,000 and build your EC schedule.
Well, you said we already had about this one below.
There's one separate set, so that one doesn't have a teacher, right? And there's another teacher. So our teachers are $98,700 each. Whatever that number is, 90. So 2 teachers, how much? 1,700. Okay, sorry, I didn't say that. So now we're down, so we have 2 teachers. So we have 115,000. Okay, we have 2 TAs.
So if you give that,
TAs are 51 grand, that's 1 and 2. Now, these are only, but we have 55 students.
55 EC students.
8, it says right here, it says 8.
8 of them are in second grade.
So we don't, that's fine.
So you have to have 1 teacher, 2 TAs for those 8.
Oh, that's just for them?
Right, this is how much is left.
$7,000 for
You're
70
one separate.
After 2 teachers, 2 TAs.
Yeah.
After 2 teachers, 2 TAs, $7,000.
EC kids has to be in that.
Minus 91,000. Minus 917.
And so now we have the rest of that money. And those kids, not in a separate setting, are they? The least restricted environment, are they part of the other classes? Are they in that? We take 8 from 65.
Wait, we did that.
Sorry, that means
This is 177, has one teacher.
They're in the gen ed.
They may pull out some part of the day, 20 minutes a day.
Push out, push in one more teacher. That's
But then what you've got is one teacher.
you're gonna need 745 service, the rest of it.
I mean, it is two teachers.
All right.
Separate setting, that was what.
Unbelievable, we just have to keep this moving, folks, okay? What staffing patterns did you guys come up with?
Do that two times, 91,000.
Would you like to explain it? We're still discussing it.
So your separate setting has one, is everyone have a separate setting with one teacher and 2 TAs in it?
Yes.
What does that leave for the rest?
It's 103,000 left, right?
Resource teacher will be set. It leaves one teacher allocation basically for everybody else.
For the 47 other students.
Okay, don't worry. Let's make this more complicated. Let's go on to the next one. Instructional support. Pull out your state allotment formula, please. And look at instructional support, which is on the first page.
Instructional support.
Instructional support, one position for every what?
417.15.
417.50, yes ma'am.
I'm sorry, the EC,
Yeah?
are we leaving it where it is?
No, we're coming back.
Not compliant.
Because we're
No,
not,
we're coming back.
that's what I said, there's no OT, there's
So it's like the
So instructional, we haven't, instructional support, so counseling, meeting coordinator.
Guys, we haven't even gotten to page 2 yet. Oh, and by the way, this is one school, folks, one of our easier, simpler schools to do. You still have to do 44 other ones. So,
So one for 417 students,
the state will provide you,
425 students. So we're gonna give us
if you hear me, clap once. If you hear me, clap twice. Thank you. All right. The state will give you how many instructional support personnel for basically for this school? One. One of each instructional?
One.
One.
So you gotta make choices.
So right now on your sheet, I want you to put down instructional support allotment is 1. And then I need you to decide what your actual staffing is. And this line item is for media coordinator, counselor, instructional coach, and social worker. You tell me what your school is going to have, you get to have one of them.
just for that.
Yeah, council can do anything. Yeah, they do.
They can lead counsel, they can read a book, and they can call parents. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Attendance and safety.
Yeah, and the media center person, you know, you put
One of our extras up
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, when you have that 15-minute break, you don't have a 15-minute break.
All right. So for right now, I want you to put down the one thing you get. Which do you guys pick? Okay, you bet. Did everyone get there yet?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you pick?
Instructional coach.
So no counselor, no social worker, no.
I didn't say that was right.
Okay, no, but you went with instructional coach.
Thinking about what other.
Counselor.
Counselor.
instructional coach.
Instructional coach. What is it? Counselor. We like to have all of the things. All right. All right, let's go on to the next one. Because I instructions. Go back to page 3, 2, 3, on your state law. You guys see AIG in the box?
What are we doing?
You have to repeat yourself, we got on tab.
You get $1,492.59 per AIG student. So take 4% of 425
Yep.
4% of our ADM.
and multiply that.
1,492.
Bless you.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
4% of 420.
When you got to Chickadee Falls, Columbus lost his overalls. You don't know the rest
I
of
didn't know that part.
You've never heard that?
4%'s a hundred and thirty.
In 1490, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. When he got to Chickadee Falls,
4%
Columbus lost
of
his overalls.
1449 should be about 70.
That's a bonus education for you, folks.
425, sorry.
425, yeah.
4% of that is 17 students.
17 students, okay.
And then we multiply that by,
The number that I was trying to do the math with,
Times
14,959.
All right, does anyone have that number? 4% of your population multiplied by law is what? What is it? 17,000?
25,000.
25, 370.
So times that by the dollar amount, what number?
25,374.
25,374. Go back to this other, the sheet you're writing on, go to page 2. What's the average cost of a teacher?
91,700.
All right, so someone do that math and tell me what percentage of an AIG teacher you inherit.
Little less than a third.
Not very much. Our right arm and part of the torso.
What number do you get?
Little less than a third.
0.276.
I'm feeling big, why don't you put 30%? So you earn about 30% of the AIG. Does that make sense?
No.
Is it understandable?
Yes.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Oh, we skipped enrichment teacher. We don't want to do that. Enrichment.
Art and a cart.
Enrichment.
Art, music, PE. Look at your categorical allotments again. And look for,
Find it.
Non-instructional.
no, it's,
Instruction.
You got arts.
I don't see it, no.
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
well, I'll tell you what it is.
Well,
You get one enrichment teacher for elementary school for every 191 students
That's
that you have.
that's our, yeah.
So we get
191.
We get 2.
So basically you get 2.
Get two.
So in that little chart next to it, I want you to pick between art, music, and PE. You get 2 of them, please.
Oh, I mean, I know what I get.
Art, music, PE.
I pick music and PE because we have some kids that are really good at like that. But at the same time, there are some that are more artistic that play. So how do you pick?
Everybody
How crap you pick? Robin?
Yep.
How do you pick?
2 PE.
Listen,
No, kidding.
Right up there?
Well, when I was
Which
in
one do you
Shelby
want?
City Schools and we lost foreign languages in the state, Shelby City
Oh,
Schools
sure you
chose to teach French. And then ours as elementary teachers had to integrate art in our lessons.
We're going to have the marching band march, and that's our PE. Okay.
So you're going to PE? Guys, you gotta pick 2 of the 3.
I like that. That's what we say. That is what we say.
I might not
That was so
understand
popular when we
music
did it
notes
a few
and
years
things
ago,
like
wasn't it?
that.
Well, and it's harder to incorporate
With art music.
And so,
All right, next one. Let's go ahead and drive this plane right over the edge.
Excellent.
Let's drive this car right over the cliff. Do you think a school with 425 students needs an assistant principal?
yes.
All right,
Too bad.
your assistant principal ratio is 1 month of an AP for every 98.53 students that you have.
425.
They don't, that's why they do it that way.
1 month for every 98.53 students.
So we can 4 months, but it gets
4 months for AP.
425.
4 months.
We have 4.31 months.
That was one of those choices, yeah.
So we have less than half of a.
Less than half of an AP.
4 months of the day.
All right, in the interest of time, I'm gonna skip non-instructional because right now you guys are cleaning the building.
Work for us.
I want you to go to the second page for a minute, okay? You'll need to keep your first page, don't get me wrong. In that first column, I want you to fill out what the state allocation for each of those categories is. So general ed teacher, the state allocation,
Ed
how many?
teacher, we said we had
22, right?
Yes.
General ed TAs, did we say 6?
We said 2, 4, 5.
5. Sorry, you're right,
Because we paid them.
can't afford it, yeah.
Because we paid too much.
EC teachers, I think you said 2, correct?
2.
Okay. ECTAs, you said 2.
Yep.
Instructional support, the state allocation was what?
2.
Enrichment teacher was what?
Instructional support was 1.
Was 1. Enrichment teacher was?
2.
AIG teacher was what, 0.3? Assistant principal was 0.4. Correct? Everybody got the number?
For something.
Now, here's the part that's gonna take you a minute. I now want you to list in the second column what you really need to run this building and tell me the difference in dollar amount between what the state gives you and what you land on for what they have to have. Julie said earlier that you cannot have 45 kids with 1 EC teacher. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So you're gonna need another EC teacher. Do you wanna have all 3 enrichments? You're gonna need to add 1. Do you want a media coordinator counselor? You have to add 1. Every time you add a teacher, I want you to put the amount that you're gonna put in that school in that second column.
Let's do the easy one.
And then use the numbers at the bottom. I want you to multiply that out by how much money that is.
If we really
Yes,
just
ma'am.
had 17, let's just
Yeah.
The EC teacher piece is not even a value statement, it is non-compliant. The state says you, an EC teacher elementary may not serve more than 35 IEPs. So it is non-compliant.
We also are required to give the kids a certain amount of PE.
That's called an unfunded mandate.
Oh, that's funny. I
Preach
was
it,
just,
lady,
maybe I
preach
was
it.
going
say
for
we
that.
have 17 students.
You're right.
So
You're
if
right.
we have 17 students that are AIT, let's just use that.
Also, folks, real quick, what's the first thing you hear principals say that they lost, that they really need in an elementary school?
Adults.
NTSS coordinator and AP.
So let's just say.
We haven't funded
use
any of
these
them
numbers
yet.
of
There's
AIT.
no instructional
Let's say
coaches
we
or there's no
use
counselors. Your kids are wilding out.
seven.
We can't call them social workers because they ain't there either.
I mean, just the thing is, when you start putting people between
So in a perfect world, you are gonna give a dollar amount at the end of what you need that you don't have for this school.
enrichment teachers are art, music, PE, so that would be 1 more, right? And then instructional supports, which is counselor, media coordinator, instructor, coach, social worker. So we need a media coordinator. We already got our counselor. We need a librarian, right? Yes. 1.
We made that part of that.
As long as you have counselor.
Oh, yeah. That's
Good.
very good. Hard work and not working, not afraid.
Yes.
Good job. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
is.
yeah, it is.
I would say, I mean, to kind of come back to that, the strategies going, you know what I mean, so that we can say.
So that would be,
Like looking at, EC teachers, TAs. So Julie just said that with 2 teachers, so this teacher has 8 children. So that leaves us with 47. And she can't do, so we have to have at least another half-time EC teacher. Well, I'll guarantee you, these 2 TAs is gonna be in that set, are gonna be in that set.
Right.
So that leaves this person, nobody, even though like no children that can transport, push into a classroom, go out in the playground with social skills, right?
How many of these, yes, or how many of these?
Why don't you, then it's gonna say we take teacher and half there and we'll use the other half to NHCS coordinator. Yeah.
So do 1.5 here, 1.5 here. And then
NHCS, see?
Okay, we're gonna,
Always figure out a way.
no, wait a minute, hold on, so 1.5, hold on, what were you saying, I said that again?
Well, because we have two, so we need. So if you have 25, if you have that, cover that, you already have two.
Here's the other question.
Yeah, so you need 25 there, 25 there, 25 there.
They just said how many of these NHCS kids, but all EC kids, they're all,
I would argue for the guarantee.
that's right, so.
So one or two.
So we do 2.5, and then the other half of
I mean,
that
I'm seeing.
comes down to, where was NTSS? They didn't have that instructional support, I guess. So instructional support, and the other 0.5 right here, so this is the same person each time.
They're gonna be, well,
And so, we would pay them out of NC funds here and out of salary.
no,
So is it all the pupils, or are we, now what about ECTA? I mean, and truly, you need more general ed classes. General ed TAs cannot help. And if y'all wanna do anything, I want y'all to go to any school on the first day of kindergarten. What herding cats, everybody's crying, nobody can button their pants, nobody can pull their pants down, nobody can tie their shoe, nobody knows their left or their right, nobody knows their name, nobody knows how to write their name, nobody knows anything.
And everybody wants
It is a fun
mama.
time had by all.
And everybody wants more. I want
And people, they're crying for their mama, they're crying, and the mamas are crying.
Oh, yeah,
Then
yeah.
we got the mamas,
And you have
they're
to pull
crying.
apart, yeah.
Okay, people, focus. I'm just telling
I
you.
remember that.
We've got a calculator. I'm gonna ask for 2 more general ed TAs after we've had that conversation.
So I was just asking where our principal was. So
Oh, in fact, we're gonna ask. Let's just do it, this is just a cleanup. None, we're leaving this part. Okay. Next, we didn't ask for any other general ed teachers, we're making it work. Even though our fifth grade counts for half of our even if we have teachers. So it's ideal not to have, well, 25 of them on board. Okay, TA is 51,000, so 2 is 102, right? So that's 102. Then we've got, EC teacher and instruction, just counted as 3, we'll go ahead and count, well, no, just do 2.5, so we'll have it on the right line. 91.7.
I told you George gives us.
CTAs is gonna be 102 as well. And then, and I would count them as a teacher because we're using that same person, she's still gonna go half of 91, so 40, what, 6, 37, 46. 45, 850. And then enrichment teacher, we know they're 91.
What's the salary for an assistant principal, Don?
We only have, we
Uh,
already said half.
most people use $100,000, that's just the ballpark. It's a little low.
Assistant principal. We said we only one. How much do assistant principals make? How much do assistant principals? Is 100?
Yeah, you can ballpark 100, it's a little more than that.
Well, I said, I need to get back into business.
I'm gonna give you about 4 or 5 minutes to finish up, and then we have to process a little bit before we have to roll.
We didn't go through the non-instructional staff, right? We could do that.
I say we're about 750.
It was split in positions. TSS coordinator and EC.
You got out of this room 614,000.
I think it's about 750. All right, let's try that again. 102.
So that's,
This lady puts their numbers more, starting to get really worried. Why is it 4.5 hours? Well,
And that's really good on. We don't right
you saw what we got there, yeah.
Okay, so, a little better.
716, 650.
So which you could give up for working.
We were very conservative.
We didn't decide that.
We made Julie happy, and that's what matters.
Yes, Julie, we
That
made you
her
very happy over here. We're
We
supporting
got,
you.
Julie's gonna give our final report. I think we're pretty much done, so.
How about we stay in the seats, right? All right. Tell me your initial thoughts. Well, first of all, I want to hear the final number. You guys got our final number of what you need to run. Whoa, whoa! By the way, the winner is the one who has the smallest number.
639.10.
716, 650.
What is it?
716, 650.
17,650.
716,
760, so
650.
700. I'll come back to you. See what you want. 825.
You know what, we need the 1.300.
yeah! I want to go to your school.
We are not proud of this. We are not proud. We can do the job for less than all of you. No, we didn't say we're actually gonna get the job done. We just said we're gonna get it.
I could name that song on one note.
Of our student body is this. 425 out of 24,000, what percentage of our whole number?
Not much.
0.2.5%, is it 2.5%? What is it? Less than 2%.
We blew $1 million more than the state for less than 2% of our population. If you multiply that out, or even if you said this is one school, not 45, if you multiply your number by 45.
It sounds an awful lot like the number Leandro came up with. 55 million.
And we didn't consider any of the required related services for our students.
OTs,
What is learning disabilities
PTs,
and nurse?
nurse.
Also, don't forget,
And any one day, a teacher is sick, 2 teachers are sick. This is a mess.
when we had the other. Yeah, you guys did, but you can't afford anything else. When,
You're right, still beach over there, guys. You're right, still beach.
looking at this, I want to hear from each one of you, give us an initial thought from sex. Like, what's your initial first thought that you thought over and over in your head? I'm leaving, okay. Like I agree.
I actually lived in a time where we had this money. I worked as an administrator in an elementary school, that we had these kinds of assistants, help, enrichment, PA. I am not happy. I haven't been to you. I'm sitting in the street right now. Others are really not. But this is ridiculous. How many principals do you? That was, they're very.
Well, principals go. Our HR didn't sit down with the principals and does it together. Drop off.
Well, I would beg to differ a little bit. I think principals do to an extent.
True. I always knew what I was going to go in for. Yeah.
I mean, an example I gave you the other day was I remember being at Hanover being told I was being cut 13 teachers. At a high school, that's an entire department. So the question then becomes, and they're like, well, where can you cut them? I can't cut anything from required courses. And so my immediate thought as we were talking was the skills that. When my father, I would ask my father for $20, he'd say, $15, what do you want $10 for? I'm not going to give you $5. And that is the arcane structure of these allotments, where every time they seem, oh, we were given this, but until you keep whittling down every single, the arcane, way that this is created is ridiculous.
And little tiny things kind of slip in the middle, like they only average once. They only round out once. Yeah, that's what we said, for grade
gotta be an easier way.
These are the people in this room that are pivotal in running this district, and it took us over an hour to do the smallest elementary.
It just highlights the need for additional funding sources, whether that's local or whatever.
And I will say, you know, as you said, impact, and that's the biggest word. I still remember the day I died when we were at open house and we had, you know, everybody, oh, you meet your new teacher, and an hour later I got a call, we're taking that teacher because another school has a bigger need for that teacher. And so, you know, everybody met Miss So-and-so and was so happy to be with Miss So-and-so, and, you know, with Miss So-and-so anymore. So, I mean, and talk about our youngest learners are kindergartners. I'm sorry? Yeah, our kindergartners.
So, I was going to say that the biggest takeaway from this is that we cannot meet the current student needs with the current allotments. And the needs increase, but the allotments nor the funding does. And I think it's a very important lesson that we've learned here.
I just feel like it's an impossible situation.
I'd reiterate, we cannot meet the students' needs, and we can't even be compliant around the requirement to meet student needs within the funding.
I mean, I think we just kind of kept going back and forth to what are we required to do and what are we trying to do for our students. And so that kind of became our conversation. We were like, okay, we hit the base amount, we're good at this grade level, what's next? And so saying, do we want to cut this opportunity? That's why our number's so big, because underneath that, we didn't want to. We wanted to cut off.
This isn't theoretical.
It's real.
These are actual numbers. I gave you the actual formula. I gave you a very fundamental middle school. That's accurate. And those numbers, Castle almost a 20% stuff. Wow. All of our small schools, all of our priority schools, except for one, have a full rating. Every school has a full council. Every school has a full meeting. Every school has a full AIG. We have 20% of our students that are AIG certified, and the state gives us 4%. Before we look at county does this, county does that, county should do this, county should do that, I think I want you guys to be aware of the reality as we go into the budget process of what our principals, our HR staff, and we have to go through. When I was talking about, I mean, you guys jokingly said, well, we don't have a machine for it. That's a heartbeat in the elementary. A lot of times we're here doing what center is. But we shouldn't have, we're nuts. Okay, we shouldn't have to choose between a counselor and a media coach. I shouldn't have to choose whether I have an assistant principal or an assistant teacher. That's really what's happening. And so when I communicate to you that we're choosing between essential services, this exercise was designed to show you that in a more real fashion. Now, all that being said, we hear a lot of, well, we just need more money. Where? We are living with what we have. Now, you said something very, very, I think, powerful that I want to resonate with. You said that there's a difference between needs and wants.
These are needs, yeah.
And I will tell you that when we were living with $358 million in operating money, the needs and wants have a different definition that we can manage. That is very hard for our staff. That is very hard for our person. What do you want in AP? What do you need? Do you need one? Asking that question is rooting dismissal just on my face.
Yeah.
But we only get 1, 2, 4 from the state. And we have to do it.
How about the question, do we want or need quality education?
I think we all agree in that space in this room that we do.
What'd he say?
He said no.
Yeah, we saw it.
He said no.
He did say no. What Jenny is handing out to you is our 6 budget priorities. No, sorry, our 6 strategic initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys referenced those before. They're attendance, 3rd grade math, high school graduation, math 1, safe and civil schools, accountability, transparency, and accessibility. Did I miss one?
No.
Your job before you disappear, board members, I don't need staff members to do this, because we already know what our priorities are.
Give him a pin back.
I'm gonna ask you guys to order those in order from 1 to 6. Or do they have 6 sheets? What do they have?
6 sheets.
Thank you.
What, did you bring a staple? All right, so what I'm gonna ask you guys to do is organize them by your order of importance. When we bring you back a budget next month, I need to make sure that the priorities that I'm putting in are the ones that you think are prime importance. So the question about is it 3rd grade reading or math 1, if I have to decide if I'm gonna add math 1 teachers or add 3rd grade reading teachers, I need to know what you guys think the priority order is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But
So you want
pre-K
our
helps
names
third
on
grade
these or
reading
just our ranking?
Before we go.
Oh, of course it is, you're right.
Mr. Chairman? Yes. Before we go, I'd like before we start the school intro, I'd like to have a moment of time.
Please do.
And I came late, so if you did this in the very beginning of the meeting, I beg your pardon, but I would like to have the board join me in congratulating Ms. Sutton for her award and for how much she does for our district and how we'd be lost without you. Thank you.
Absolutely be lost without her. I would have definitely been lost without her today.
You may want to save that speech because you may be doing it again on the deck. But actually, I think we all are with that.
Absolutely, 100%.
One on top, 6 on bottom, 1 on bottom.
I want, when I look at it for your first priority, you need the first thing I see.
And while, if you're done with that and getting ahead, Ms. Sutton had mentioned 2 meetings in March, is that correct?
So normally we have 2 in March,
Okay.
and I guess if we don't need the second one, we wouldn't have to have one, but I think having one scheduled so it's on everybody's calendar is probably best.
All right, I'm gonna throw out a day, days and see, and throw things at me if you got to. I'm gonna say March 12th and 26th.
Oh,
What days of the week are those?
Those are both Thursdays. Oh, I'm getting a look from Julie. Oh, no, oh. And
Think you're
you said
gonna.
March 6th?
March 12th and March 26th. 9 a.m., so we have plenty of time. 10 o'clock.
Jenny, does that interrupt us in a next meeting for finance?
Okay?
Because we usually have those on Thursday.
We have one person can't do until afternoon, so why don't we say
Because we're gonna need one.
3 o'clock? 3 o'clock,
I can't do it then, I have a doctor's appointment.
okay?
What day are you
Yeah,
talking
but
about
Mr.
now?
Kupski-
Right now, the 12th, yeah?
Well, let's start with the 12th. Are you good with the 12th? at 2?
No, I can't, I can't do it that time of day on the 12th, at 3 o'clock when you guys just do out.
Okay. All right, let's look at, how about the 18th? How's the 18th look for everybody?
18th
For
is good.
the next one,
18th
hold on.
for the first one. 18th at 1 o'clock.
That's good.
Only one, of course, don't know Mr. Perry.
Me.
but- All right, let's schedule the
Dr.
18th
Barnes,
for
when
1
is the,
o'clock.
I do have
When is the,
another meeting, but the Elevate Every Child also meets that day. But, what's that?
We were talking
Well,
earlier.
can
about
you do
something
2
on the
o'clock then?
18th.
Well,
What is it?
2:30, because we have to get,
2:30,
2:30?
2:30 work.
2:30 on the 18th.
Hang on.
2:30 on the 18th.
Isn't there something else on the 18th?
There's the Elevate Every Child, but
But there's something else.
I don't think so. I have nothing on mine, that's why.
What day is the principal of the day? 19th, okay.
19th. Okay, so we'll say 2:30, it's budget.
We're not doing 2 o'clock, we're doing 2:30?
2:30, because we have to get over from the Elevate.
No, I've got a listening tour at Murray, I'll cancel it.
And how about the 23rd at 2:30? 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Can't believe we're doing March 23rd at 2 o'clock?
It's a Monday.
Is there enough time between the 18th and the 23rd?
Not really.
I'm gonna ask Ms. Sutton.
That's gonna be tight for us.
And somewhere in there, I need a finance committee meeting.
How about the 27th, then?
Well, but when do I have to present it to you guys? In the 24th, the agenda review?
Yeah.
So we're gonna need you to.
Why is the agenda review not the 31st?
Because we have to have a meeting,
Because our board meeting got moved up to April first.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
it would have been, spring break
Oh, that's
week.
right, that's right, I forgot about
So we changed
that.
it back to April 1, so therefore, agenda review cannot be the day before, it's the week before, on the 24th of March.
So April 1st is a Wednesday.
Review,
I
okay.
mean, yeah.
Now, as long as you guys are okay with me bringing the budget to you on April 1st at the board meeting, that could work, wouldn't it, Ashley?
Yeah, they just wouldn't see it. Normally, we would like for you guys to see it before you have to vote on it.
But they'll see it at the they'll see it on the 23rd.
Yeah. How about the
As
23rd
long
then?
as you're,
So
Right, if
back to
you-
the 23rd meeting?
2 o'clock.
Okay, so I
Actually, we
think,
gotta have a finance committee meeting between now and then.
2 o'clock.
well, but here's the caveat. If you make substantial changes to it on the 23rd, you may have to squeeze in another meeting
that's my
before the board
concern, that's my concern.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna present it on the 1st and you rip it apart, if you make substantial changes to it on the 23rd, I won't be able to present it.
How about maybe let's go back to the 12th as a possibility at 9 a.m. You can't be there.
I won't be there. I can be there as early as 11.
You can't be there on the
Look at
12th
the
either?
26th for finance.
What time did you say?
As early as 11:30.
11?
12th is wide
I
open
mean,
for me.
I can do anytime
Supposed to be
after
my
that,
wife's
but
her
11:30
doctor's
would be
appointment.
fairly
I guess I couldn't at the 1 o'clock. Right?
Ashley,
I said
look
I
at,
can do after
look at
that.
Yeah, okay, all right.
26th for finance.
Okay, so let's say, what, 11, you say?
11:30 is the earliest I can do. Personally.
So 11, we told you 11:30 on the 12th?
Let's go 11, and then you can just catch up. That's fine. That way there I can
March
hopefully
the
make the 12.
12th at 11:30?
Yeah, no, I'll hand off, I'll hand off anything.
That visit calendar invite to me somehow?
Yeah, as soon as I get a date, I will.
Okay.
I know.
So I don't have to do
Okay.
this?
Well,
Okay, fair
just let
enough.
you know, my wife's got a doctor's appointment at 1, but if I need to, I'll hand the gavel over. So, all right, so let's say at 11 o'clock on the
11
12th.
o'clock, I thought it was,
On the 12th.
On the 12th. 11 and 12.
I thought it was 11:30. Didn't she say she couldn't be here before?
She'll come late
She's
because
gonna catch up.
Well, I don't,
Yep. So, okay, so now, so we are confirmed.
I'll pre-read this event.
So we've got the 12th, we taking 18th off?
No, we're gonna keep the 18th. That'll be our second meeting.
That 6 days is enough time for the,
Because,
for senior staff to put together the
because
next
they were
meeting?
trying to get it for the agenda review on the 24th.
No, I understand, I just want to make sure that's actually.
Okay, so what date I should put that?
Okay, so, right now, we got, the 11th,
Where's that
the
leave us,
12th
Ashley?
at 11, and the 18th at 2:30.
And we're scheduling these for 2-hour meetings, so?
Sounds good? Is that 2 hours? Okay.
Okay, just to confirm, March 12th at 11 o'clock,
Mhm.
and on March 18th at 2:30.
Correct. Okay, all right.
So Ashley, we look at the
Do we have anything
19th or
else
the
on our agenda
26th.
today? Because my computer just went down again. Come on.
Who's organizing this?
It's on the 26th.
Okay, so we've done the initiatives. You got your initiatives all set?
And we need those before you leave, please.
Yeah.
Not me. You'll never see them again. I've lost so many things that I've collected from this group.
I believe that
Oh,
ends
it's a
our
bad thing.
Is that everything?
time for, I'm looking here, we've done our initiatives.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Adjournment. So, there's a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay, there we go. 5-1, we're out.